Why I picked the Hyundai table saw was the price. I didn't want to pay too much because I've got the bandsaw for doing most things. I know they're a bit flimsy, let's say. Tin table, plastic casing, but two things swung it. Hyundai, I think everybody's heard of Hyundai, so they must have a good name. B, 3-year warranty, so they must think it's alright as well. The only two problems I found, well, there weren't problems. When it starts with a bang, which is the motor coming under full power straight away. No soft start or anything at this price. It frightens you at first, but when I googled it, a lot of people have the same problem, so I presume it's just the type of control system for the motor. There is none. It just whacks in full power straight away. I've seen on YouTube people use soft starts and all this, but I don't think that's right, because when you look at the wiring on the soft starts that they had, there's no way they should take that sort of amperage. But yeah, you pay the money, you get the soft start. The other thing is the riving knife. I'll show you. Yeah, what you've got to watch is if you change the riving knife or take it out and leave it off for a reason, going through, say, one of these sledges, one of the cross-cut sledges, you might need that off. Tighten that plate back up. It's got a little arrow on the top there, but you've got to tighten it up vertical. If it goes off to one side, that edge down there catches on the plastic framework down there, and then it gets stuck and it won't go up or down. You think there's a problem, but all it was is that has jammed in over there because it wasn't completely vertical. There isn't a lot of clearance down there, so you've got to get it so it clears up and down. Even if there's no knife in, you still tighten it up, otherwise it could swing round. You never know, it could actually swing round into that blade by the look of it, so make sure that's tight. Yeah, this plate, if it was right up, if the blade was right up, it could actually, and that was loose, it could actually swing round. So once it's down a little bit, I'll show you. Once it goes down, it gets caught by the housing, so it can't go in the blade then. See that in there, look. But when it's right up, it can swivel right down if it was loose. So make sure it's tight whether you've got a blade in or not. So we'll tighten it up now. As you can see, that is very close, which is good in a way, but you've got to make sure that you are vertical. Try it, go up and down first. And the only other, again, not a problem, but just check that the top of the knife here, where's my finger, it's not over to one side like that. This particular one was, so I put it in the vise and just pulled it, so now it's dead square at the tips. It was alright down the bottom end, but just at the tips it could have gone with going over, so I bent it a little bit. So as now that's in line with the plate. The size of the teeth will be a little bit bigger. So I'll get it in the middle of the plate. Yeah, that'll do the job, I think. feet adds to another thing. You can put a shelf on it, and if you put a cardboard box in there, that collects all the sawdust as well, plus holds all the bits and pieces that you need. But collecting the sawdust is the best thing. I made a couple of jigs. I don't know if I'll ever use them, but what the hell. The cross cut, I suppose that might be in use. This one I was going to make for making dovecote angles. Angles on the sides. I might do that later. Right, I cut up on the, you can see it, circular saw that's up through the table, and a circular saw that comes up through a piece of wood, turn over, makes the original saw table. When I think back on that, that was bloody dangerous. But I never got caught out, so I was lucky. Yeah, I found with the guard on, connected up to the vacuum, an old Titan vacuum cleaner, plugged into there. A cardboard box in situ. It don't actually make a lot of dust. Do forget to switch the over on, because once you start this thing up it makes a hell of a noise, so you can't hear the Hoover going as well. But all in all, I'm quite pleased with it, even though it's taking up all my room in my garage. I was going to use it in the summer to take it in and take it outside, but when I get it through that door and now it's assembled, I don't know. We'll see. I'm not going to bother with these side pieces, or end pieces I should say. They'd fit on this end. It'd be nicer to have in-feed and out-feed, but for my sort of work, as I say, small pieces of wood, I'm not going to bother putting them on. Just use this table as it is, which I think is ample for what I want. To make the zero clearance plate, obviously take the old one off, get a piece. This is 5mm ply, it just does the job. I've had to pack two sides on this one. It's alright, it's not plugged in. So all you do is you make your oblong to fit, drill a hole in here, countersink it for the 4mm screw that goes in there. Add two little blocks on the end, they fit in there. The only other thing you've got to watch is these actually are above the flat, that and that. So just chisel a bit out here to miss them. Put it on there, bring the fence over, lock it down and drive the blade up through it while it's going, of course. You can't have the riving knife on, otherwise that won't come up through it, but just drive the blade up through it and then cut this little bit out later. That's it. As I say, check the flatness of it. I might stiffen that up sometime. We'll see what it's like. Yeah, I basically got it to cut thin strips for ship's planking. That's one under construction now. I don't need it for that, but it's just these thin strips in here making the hull. So far I'm pleased with what I've done. So maybe the next, well, it won't be for the next build. I've used oak, Utilia, which is supposed to be hardwood as well. And I'm getting consistent 1mm wide strips. So I know it can do a millimetre and upwards, which is all I need. Plus any deck stuff. It'd be easy to do that, although I'll probably do that on the bandsaw. I've got a pile of cherry wood there. It's not square enough yet for putting on this saw, and this needs to be a really good flat surface so you don't get the kickback. But I'm only going to be using, what, 12-inch long maximum plank anyway, which is equates to about a 30-foot plank on a real ship, so nothing wrong with that. That's another one I found on YouTube. The simplest one. Seems to work okay. You don't lock it in, you just leave it here somewhere. Put the block of wood anywhere before the blade. Bring it down, bring the fence down so the wood's against the jig. Lock it in. Take the jig away. Put the fence in. Come on. Ram it up there. Tighten it down. I won't do it one-handed. And with this extra long push stick, just push it through. Job done. And take that out. Put that back in. That'll be a little bit smaller now. Pull it forward, lock it off. Same procedure again. Done all these strips. That's a util, that's supposed to be hardwood, but I don't like the colour. Not happy with that. Oak, no problem, it cut through there, 1mm thick, no problem, one after the other. Not happy with the colour as that, I don't like oak. That's a softwood, this one. Same again, no problem. 1mm thick strips. This is what they would look like on the hull. That's the softwood. Teak looks the best colour. I like the teak, but that oak with a bit of oil on it comes out too dark. Might be alright for 15th, 16th century ships, but the later ones didn't look like that. So I'll keep experimenting. Well, the first one off, just a trial before I set it up, and that is about 0.6 all the way along. Cutting near the edge there because the first cut on a piece of wood, so yeah, 0.6. Not bad at all. Well, the rest are fairly consistent as well at 1.1 millimeters. Right. Right. The thin rip jig. What I do, set that to a millimetre. I've already done these, and so I know it works. Pull that in, lock it, and there we go. Trying to do it one-handed. Bit loose. Let's tighten it up. That's tight. Right, over. That's clear. See what it measures. One 1.11, 1.28, 1.2, 1.3. So it did taper a touch, but that's what I want at the moment. It's quite acceptable. I've also made an extension, height extension to the fence. For that I've never tried it yet. I'm thinking of putting the featherboard on there, just for added safety. I'll try that later. Looks alright. Drilled 4 holes, 7 diameter in the back of the aluminium fence. Very carefully, sharp drill, you don't want to damage the fence. Bought some M6 knobs for eBay. There's, the bolts are quite long, so instead of cutting them, I've had some 6mm tubes, so use that as spacers for the feather boards. And for these T-slots, I found that the M10 bolt, just tickle up 2 sides of the hexagon and they fit in there. So that will hold this featherboard down. I didn't buy any nuts for this or knobs for this. I made these precision type